Disclaimer: to visit the main room of the monastery, women should wear a skirt below the knee or a dress, as well as cover their heads. Men need to take off their headgear and put on trousers. In other cases, the clergy have the right not to let you in the monastery. Also, the monastery provides its guides to get acquainted with a more detailed history of this place. Photo and video shooting is prohibited on the territory.
Hello everyone! Today we will go on excursion to the Novodevichy Park and also visit the Novodevichy Monastery. The Novodevichy Ponds Park is located on the Novodevichy seafront, which is right in front of me. The Moscow River flows north of the square. The First Main Highway runs to the west. On the south side, it borders the Novodevichy Monastery and the cemetery.
The park near the Novodevichy Monastery was founded back in 1957 by a resident of the Frunzensky district of Moscow. This park was founded in the 40th anniversary of the Great October Revolution. After the creation of the park, its territory is assigned to the monastery security zone. So, while the temple will stand, the park will bloom. There are also two reservations of the territory of the park, tributaries of the Moscow River. Swimming in ponds is prohibited, but fishing is allowed, which is enjoyed by Moscow citizens who come to reservation with fishing rods. However, sometimes they are pushed aside by fans of feeding ducks. It is worth nothing, but there are plenty of ducks here.
So, here we have a sculpture of duck family. It is called a Way for Ducklings. It contains the sculptures that presented by United States of America, to be precisely Barbara Bush, for the Soviet children. It is a sign of peace, and it is based on a beloved American fairy tale, A Way for Ducklings. So, memorable feature about this sculpture that it was stolen several times. So little ducklings were stolen, and it is like fully replaced. But right now it is protected by cameras on the trees and guards. So memorable feature also about the sculpture that we have absolutely the same in the Boston Park.
Russian Novodevichy Monastery, which you can see right now behind my back, was founded in 1524 by the Grand Knyazes of Moscow, Vasily III, in honor of the return of the ancient Russian city of Smolensk to the Russian lands. Smolensk belonged for 110 years to Lithuania. At the turn of the 13th-15th centuries, two powerful states grew up on the site of the principalities of ancient Russia, Moscow Rus and Lithuania Rus. The Lithuanian Rus included the ancient Russia cities of the Kiev, Polotsk, Chernihiv, Minsk, Orsha, Pinsk, and others, and since 1404 Smolensk. It was important for Moscow Russia to return the lost lands of the ancient Russian Kievan state. In the first half of the 16th century, wars followed one another between the Moscow and Lithuania.
So, all three campaigns against Smolensk were held by Великий князь Vasily III, and they lasted from 1512 to 1514. The first two campaigns were unsuccessful. As a result of third campaign and good negotiations, Smolensk remained a part of Moscow until 90 years have passed, and it was again retreated to the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. So, it is no coincidence that monastery is placed on the southwestern side of the Moscow, as Crimean Tatars and Western invasions made such place the most dangerous in whole country, And this monastery was a defense of Moscow among other monasteries built here. Actually, it stays on the Smolensk road, and in 15th century it was mentioned that this was village Luzhniki. So after the name of village, this place gained the name Luzhniki. Actually, Vasily III invested almost 3,000 rubles to build monastery, and it was a palace for a lot of nobility in Russia, such as Ulyana Paletskaya, it is Tsarskaya дочь in Russian, Елена Sheremetьева, and Ivan Grozny, the most unknowledgeable. That's all.
The heyday of a monastery coincides with the 7-year reign of Tsarevna Sofia Alexeyevna 1682-1689, when an intensive period of stone construction began, which lasted throughout her reign. Over the years, all the main buildings of the Baroque ensemble were built. The gate church of the intersection with the Mariinsky chamber 1683-1688, the two-tiered Assumption Church with refectory chambers 1685-1687, the Gate Transfiguration Church and Lopukhinsky Chamber 1687-1688, the Monastery Bell Tower 1689-1690, the familiar architectural ensemble of the Novodevichy Monastery is considerably formed. During this period, the icon painters of the armory work in the monastery. It should not be forgotten about that the monastery was a watchman monastery, a fortress monastery, and therefore witnesses the dramatic military history of the Russian states. Upon assuming the throne, Boris Godunov donated 1,000 rubles in silver to the monastery for the construction of a powerful fortress wall, 870 meters long with 12 towers and 4 Setigerus guard houses. In 1605, the Dmitry I entered the Moscow, and in 1606, the monastery fell under the siege. Smolensk and Ryazan regiments gathered under its walls to defend the Moscow. In 1610 to 1611, 4 companies of Polish Lithuanian officers and soldiers under the command of the Polish officers stood in the monastery. The battle for the liberation of Moscow between the Russian military of Kuzma Minin and Dmitry Pozharsky and the army of Hetman Jan Khatkevich began on August 22, 1612, near the walls of a monastery. This concludes our excursion, and it is impossible not to introduce the audience to 3 excellent guides: Daria Isayeva, Alexander Shevelyov, and of course me, Olga Astapova. Be sure to visit this beautiful monastery, and the park closes its to territory on our huge recommendation.